I'm so glad you're here. If you enjoy stories with heart and meaning, don't forget to subscribe for more. The Shoes in the Rain. In a small, quiet town lived a boy named Eli. He was 14 years old, thin, quiet, and often forgotten by others. His clothes were always second-hand, and his shoes were falling apart. The soles were cracked, and when it rained, the water rushed in like it belonged there. Every morning, Eli walked to school through muddy roads. He tried to avoid puddles, but the holes in his shoes let the water in anyway. His socks got wet. His feet stayed cold. The other kids never noticed him much. They came in shiny shoes, colorful backpacks, and laughter in their voices. Eli sat at the back of the classroom, always quiet, always observing. But Eli had something special. He noticed things. He saw when the teacher rubbed her eyes because she hadn't slept. He saw when another student looked down at their test with shaking hands. He saw the small bird that came to the window every morning, hopping in the rain and watching the class before flying away. Eli didn't talk about these things. He just wrote them down in a little brown notebook he always kept in his bag. Nobody knew he had it. It was his secret, his way of understanding the world. Every day was the same. Rain, mud, silence, and that lonely feeling in his chest that no one really saw him. But that was about to change. Part 2. The Gift from a Stranger. The next morning, the rain was heavier than usual. Thunder grumbled in the sky, and the streets were more like rivers than roads. Eli looked down at his feet, already soaked before he even left his gate. He sighed and started walking. Step by step, his shoes sank deeper into the mud. Cold water splashed up his legs. Other kids ran past him with umbrellas and raincoats, but Eli had neither. As he passed the old bakery on Main Street, one that had been closed for years, something strange happened. A woman stepped outside, holding a small brown box. She wore a red scarf, had kind eyes, and didn't seem to mind the rain at all. "Hey!" she called out. "Wait a second." Eli froze. No one ever called out to him. "You dropped this," she said, walking toward him with the box. He looked confused. "I didn't drop anything." The woman smiled gently. "Then maybe it found you." She opened the box and pulled out a pair of shoes. New ones. Strong soles. Black laces. A size tag that said, "Size 6, just right." Eli's eyes widened. "I can't take those. I don't have money. They're not for sale." The woman said kindly, "They're a gift. For rainy days like this one." Before he could ask anything more, she placed the shoes in his hands, turned around, and walked back toward the bakery. But when Eli looked up a second later, the door was closed. The bakery looked old and dusty again, like it hadn't been touched in years. He turned back to the shoes in his hands. They were real. They were dry. And they were his size. Eli sat under a tree, took off his soaked shoes, and slipped on the new ones. They fit perfectly. For the first time in a long time, his feet were warm. As he stood up, something inside him felt different. Lighter. Like maybe today wouldn't be like every other day. And he didn't know it yet. But these shoes weren't the only thing that would change. Part 3. A new step forward. Eli walked into school in his new shoes. Nobody noticed them at first. But Eli noticed how different he felt. He didn't walk slowly anymore. He didn't try to hide his feet. With every step, he felt more solid, like he belonged. In class, as usual, the students chatted while waiting for the teacher. Eli sat down in the back like always, but something was different. Near him, a girl named Rena sat with her head down, shoulders shaking. She was quiet, like him. No one seemed to notice she was crying. Eli stared at her for a moment. Normally, he would stay silent. But today, he couldn't. He took a piece of paper from his notebook, wrote something, folded it, and gently slid it onto her desk. She opened it. I know rainy days feel heavy, but they don't last forever. Rena looked up. Her eyes were red. But when she saw Eli, she gave him a soft smile. It was the first time anyone had smiled at him like that. Later that day, his teacher called him after class. Eli, she said, holding something up. I found your notebook last week. I read it. Eli's heart dropped. His notebook? The one filled with his thoughts? His observations? I'm sorry, he said quickly. I didn't mean to. Don't apologize. She interrupted. Eli, it's beautiful. She placed a hand on his shoulder. You see the world in a way most people don't. That's a gift. Eli stared at her, unsure how to respond. I think, she added, you have a voice people need to hear. That night, Eli sat on his bed, notebook open in front of him. He looked at the shoes. They sat by the door, clean and dry, like they were waiting. And he wondered, who was that woman? How did she know his size? Why did she say, they found you? He felt something in his heart he hadn't felt in a long time. Part 4. The bakery door. A week passed. Eli wore his new shoes every day. His feet stayed dry. But something more important was happening. He started talking to people. He smiled at classmates. He helped others quietly, just like he always had, but now people noticed. And slowly, Eli didn't feel invisible anymore. His teacher gave him a small job after school, helping in the library. She said his quiet spirit made the room calmer. One afternoon, as he walked home past the bakery, something tugged at his heart. He wanted to thank the woman who gave him the shoes, to tell her how much had changed since that day. So, he stepped up to the bakery door. It looked dusty. He knocked. No answer. He tried the handle. Locked. Then he saw a small, cracked paper stuck to the glass. Bakery closed since 5 years ago. No staff. No visitors. Eli blinked. That didn't make sense. He had been there just days ago. The woman gave him the shoes. She smiled. She spoke. He looked around, confused. Rain began to fall softly. He glanced down at his shoes. Still perfect. Still warm. Was it possible? That night, Eli opened his notebook and wrote, some people give you things money can't. Some kindnesses are too quiet to explain. But when they find you, they change you forever. He closed the notebook and looked out the window. The little bird was there, hopping outside. It flew up into the rain, wings wide, as if it had always known this moment would come. Eli smiled. He didn't need to understand everything. He was walking forward now, dry feet, warm heart, and a world finally opening up. Moral of the story. Sometimes, the smallest kindness, even from a stranger, can change how we see ourselves. And once we're seen, we begin to shine. Eli never saw the woman again. The bakery stayed closed. Just like the sign said. Some days, he wondered if she had been real, or maybe something else. A moment. A miracle. But one thing was certain. She had seen him when no one else did. And that small act, a simple pair of shoes, changed everything. Eli kept walking forward. With each step, He helped others feel seen too. With each word in his notebook, he reminded the world of the beauty in being kind, quiet, and true. Moral of the story: some miracles don't make noise. They come quietly, like shoes in the rain, and remind us that we are not invisible. Kindness, even the smallest kind, can change a life forever. Thank you so much for listening. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Until next time, keep dreaming, and never stop noticing the beauty around you.